What up, y'all?
What up? What up? What up? We in the building.
Popped up. What do you call it? The popped up sitting low?
Popped up, sitting low. In this case, we just popping up on y'all. Y'all didn't really think they was gonna release the second Wakanda Forever trailer if we weren't gonna give our 2 cents on it. Yeah, not Black Comic Lords, no. Of course we got thoughts. And you're gonna hear probably a few more thoughts later on this week and in a couple of videos to just take us out. But anyway, man, we're not gonna be before you guys long tonight. Me and the Chief Don Dada Paul wanted to just chop it up and give our initial thoughts about the trailer. And I gotta say, just right off the bat, I thought it was a dope trailer. I thought it was better than the first one. And that's my initial thought. Just dope. This is gonna be a crazy movie. I don't know how good it's gonna be, but it's definitely gonna be crazy. So, what's your thoughts, bro, about this Wakanda Forever trailer?
Wow, so much to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
I will start with this.
Keep going back! Keep going back! Keep going back! Keep going back!
Going back.
It's the call to war. You know, anyone who's been in Black Comic Lords spaces for more than 2 minutes knows how I feel about the idea that they did not choose to recast T'Challa in the Marvel MCU, the MCU. I don't want to be misquoted or people to misunderstand and think that I have any problems with Letitia White taking over as Black Panther. I have no problems with that, actually. I think that was inevitable. In fact, it was something I was looking forward to seeing. My objection on that perspective has to do more with the concept of getting rid of T'Challa in the Marvel Universe, both the comics and in the movies for the foreseeable future. That's my objection. Because I think the MCU or Marvel Studios mishandled the question of when are they going to recast T'Challa by saying we don't plan on ever recasting him. Or not being more definitive and saying, well, we're just not going to recast him for this film. They could have said something specific like that, but they said we're just not going to recast T'Challa, which led to a lot of interpretations. And the subsequent actions in the comics and sidelining the character and neutering him did not bode well for those of my fellow acolytes of the Cult of Bast. So we're unhappy right now. But that being said, the first movie was groundbreaking on many levels, not just as a work of film, but in how it was made, by who it was made, by who made it, and by the barriers it broke as a result. It's an important film. This movie deserves our support on that level alone, because we got Black folk working and doing their best and making something special and ruining barriers and preconceptions as to what we are capable of. That alone should make people want to support it. I'm excited to see Shuri put on the mantle. I'm saddened that we won't see T'Challa in this film, apparently. Because one thing is not mutually exclusive to the other.
Right.
But, the Namor was exciting to see. Seeing those little feathered feet,
yes,
ankles.
Yes, sir.
Seeing him fly and bounce around. I mean, that was pretty hardcore.
That was dope.
Seeing Riri Williams say, "Let's go," and having her fly out in her armor.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope. I'm excited for the introduction of new characters. I'm excited to see Wakanda flex against the colonizers. which is clear is going to happen in this film, as the colonizers try to take uh, the vibranium from Wakanda, which has now been revealed to the world. Um, there's a lot to look forward to. I will say this: two things of note, or three major points, I should say. Point number one: it is assumed that Shuri is going to be in the suit. Is she the only person who is going to put on a suit or will be given the mantle of the Black Panther? I don't know. Postulation number two. It's interesting that this movie is 2 hours and 41 minutes long. That means that as dope as the trailers were, there's a lot of stuff we haven't seen. And Marvel's been very tight-lipped as to what is going to go on beyond what was been leaked. I ask you this. Every Marvel movie's got a big bad. Who's your big bad in this film? Namor? He's kind of an anti-hero, right? He's kind of misunderstood. It sounds like this is one of those classic superhero meets superhero. So what do? They, of course, have to butt heads in battle because it's a big misunderstanding until they can shake hands and say, yeah, I get you, my bad. Who's the big bad in this film?
I don't think that we really know.
No. The movie is 2 hours and 41 minutes. You going to tell me it's a 2 hour and 41 minute misunderstanding?
I will say this. I think Hirsch is doing a video pretty soon. Guys, stay tuned for that, about the perception of Namor, because the thought is I can't pronounce his name correctly, so I won't try. I don't want to murder his name, but the actor that's playing Namor says that Namor isn't a villain. Now, we know that Namor has a history as a villain, but he also has a history of being on the Avengers, being with the Invaders, being with the Defenders. So he's certainly an anti-hero at least. So given that, though, there are at odds. But here's the thing. One of the things that was said in the trailer was, I think it may have been Shuri or it may have been Queen Ramonda, but someone said that he's coming for the surface people. And so the thought is, when Namor takes on the surface dwellers, it's not just Wakanda that he has a problem with. He has a problem with the surface world, period. So, and the thing
Rico out here with the spoilers. Come on, Rico.
I say it's doom. It might be
the thunder, bro.
And here's the thing too. We know that the Queen is going to be before the United Nations in the movie. We've seen that in the trailer.
Yeah, and in the leak.
Yes. So we may not get the big bad. Now, I do think that if we may get a reveal later on in the film. I will say this. Let me give my initial thoughts. When the trailer opens, you see that we still got residue from the first trailer, which was 50, 60, 70% of the film. We see it opens up with Shuri and these tattoos that she has on her hand, right? And so we get that, and it's like, okay.
I'll talk about that, Imani. That's a good point.
But it shifts then after that to this boat that's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean or wherever it is, and we see people scaling it, and we don't know if that's the Doras or the Wakanda, or is that not the Atlanteans, but the Talakans, I guess, if I can say it like that. Right. We don't know. We didn't get close-ups on that. But what we do know is that there definitely is a hidden hand at play. And I think this movie is going to give us a lot. It's like you said, it's 2 hours and 41 minutes. And but from what I can see, we're going to get a lot of action, a lot of it. And I think that's what's going to help this movie. It's probably one of these films where we're going to not be able to like rest or be able to sit. It's going to literally just boom, 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 boom. They're going to hit us with scene after scene after scene. We'll get breathers. And most of the time, those breathers are probably going to be Shuri or the Queen Mother or Okoye, somebody crying because of what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Kenneth Gardner is asking, you think Wakanda Forever will be the bigger box office hit than the first Black Panther film?
Now, that's hard to say. And the reason why I say that is because
Avatar.
There's that. People have been waiting on Avatar for over 10 years. So, but I do expect it to break records. I do expect it to do that. And it depends. People are going to go see this film. Some people are going to be, let me wait and see what everybody thinks. If the initial reviews are good, then people are going to bum rush the theaters. I mean, I've seen ads on my Facebook timeline already for people to buy tickets, and they're going to basically buy out the theater, and people are going to go see the movie with different organizations and with different bookstores. So we're going to get the similar things that we got in the first movie. So I do think it'll break records. Is it going to break Avatar? Kind of hard to beat, because Avatar has been a movie that a lot of people have been waiting on. And we're not just talking about Black folk. We're talking about people all over the world.
Yeah, and I think quite frankly, Avatar, which is released, I think after Wakanda Forever, will probably steal some of those ticket sales. That's what I mean by the Avatar comment. I will say this, in terms of the success of this film. I watched a trailer today with my 11-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually, who has a very low attention span when it comes to these things, she paid attention to it and watched the whole thing. And it occurred to me something I hadn't really thought of for perspective. Tomiko made a comment just recently where she goes, some folk need to tuck in their misogyny and enjoy the film, or something to that effect, and grow up, is what she said. It's interesting. That's a viewpoint us fanboys don't really think about, right? Is the fact that you have women and girls that will see a film with this. I mean, the first Black Panther film had a lot of strong Black female leads, which is a beautiful thing. Yeah. This one is literally all Black female leads, right? I mean, there's M'Baku and Namor, but beyond that, your title character is going to be Shuri, and then we're introducing Riri Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that both of these young women, young Black women, have real Black girl magic beyond superpowers, in the sense that they're both STEM-centered women, right?
Yes,
these
sir.
are both women that are into science and engineering and mathematics and technology. And that's their superpower, really.
Mm-hmm.
And to see that on the screen, that's tremendous. I want to see a whole bunch of Ironheart costumes this next year for Halloween. It's a pity this film didn't come out before Halloween, because I would have loved to have seen some Ironheart costumes on little girls and some new Black Panther costumes on little girls. Yeah. That would have been tremendous. I think the timing.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What if they go for the trifecta? What if Lunella Lafayette shows up?
Stop. That's not going to happen.
You talk about Shuri, you talk about Riri Williams and Lunella.
That would be way too much black girl magic. That would violate. Dwayne McDuffie would literally come out of his grave for that blatant violation of the rule of three.
Man, that would be too much. That would be too much. But I mean, here's the thing. I think that in our community, I'll say it like this: in our community, Black women have dealt with a lot of trauma and pain. and fighting for representation and things of the nature. That's kind of been part of the package of living in America and trying to be seen. So this creates an interesting dynamic where this hero, T'Challa, dies. Not T'Challa, but Chadwick Boseman dies. And so those of us that have been saying recast, recognize that Shuri has worn the mantle of Black Panther and is very much capable. But we're looking at, okay, what about T'Challa? And it puts us in a pickle, and sometimes it even can put you in the crosshairs of people, one, who don't understand comics, and two, that don't understand the character itself. And so we have this movie where we have all of this Black star power. We're not just talking about, we're talking about Okoye. We're talking about the Queen Mother as well.
Right.
I mean, the melanin is strong in this movie, and it's beautiful. All of it's beautiful. And so, if me and you and Herschel have one thing in common. We have daughters.
That's right.
And because we have daughters, we think about wanting our daughter to be valued and to be seen. And, it's movies like this that will help. Because there's a lot of negative energy out here that is being pushed and forced on them.
Right.
And so it's very, very important that our daughters see themselves in these roles, in these fields, because like you brought up STEM, STEM is really the most important. You can go ahead and get a degree in literary sciences if you want to, but if you're going to function in the 21st century, it needs to be science, technology, mathematics, period. So, and we're going to get a healthy dose of that. So I think there's nothing wrong with it. Now, will little boys feel some type of way with T'Challa not being there initially? Absolutely. We can't get that. Now that's the elephant in the room. What are these little boys who saw Black Panther on the screen? What are there to do? What I'm saying?
Rico says folks are so deep in their cups about a male character that they refuse to see the good in women characters.
I agree, absolutely. But I mean, but I will not push back. But I will say, think about those young boys who saw T'Challa on screen.
Right.
And so we can't ignore that. You know what I'm saying? Not at the expense of bringing representation, valid representation, by the way. That's just a part of it. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the recast T'Challa movement isn't a enemy to Shuri having the mantle. I think that's the biggest.
Say that louder for the folks in the back, bro.
The recast T'Challa movement is not an enemy to Shuri wearing the mantle. If you read the comics, she's very capable and was skilled, and those were good books. And so we're going to get to see it on screen. So, I think that to Miko's point, we sometimes just need to shut up and enjoy. She says they feel that a Black woman character takes something away from a Black male character. True. But I think that's all perception. I mean, what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like this here. Have you ever, let me ask you a question, Paul. Have you ever experienced something that you initially thought wasn't going to be a positive or a good experience for you, but after you experienced it, you were happy that you did?
Yeah, of course.
I think that some of that's going to be a part of this. My wife is not a comic book head at all. My wife could care less about Black Panther. My wife could care, that's just not her deal. And I saw Black Panther twice before I took her to see it. And when she saw it, she was very, very impressed. And she was very, very in love with Okoye. And, that's her favorite scene is that scene where she snatches off her wig and starts doing damage in that casino. That's that always gets her hyped. And but just seeing that light in my wife's eyes, just looking at a dark-skinned Black woman do her thing is amazing. And she says, Black boys can look up to Shuri. True, very true. I won't push back on that. But I will say that in defense of the comics, because it's all about the comics, I am not in favor of killing T'Challa. And, I don't think, because if you look at the history of comics, and we weren't really trying to go there, but if you look at the history of the comics, like to your point we were talking earlier, Shuri really didn't want the mantle the second time that she had it. In the earlier comic books, she craved that role. She wanted it initially. But I mean, again, she was very, very good in the comics, and she held her own against Namor. And I don't expect nothing different in this particular movie.
And that leads to a point that Amani just made about one of the things that he mentioned that he'd like to see in the film, and I agree with him. In the scene, I guess funeral procession, I guess is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
See Shuri wearing the headdress and the earrings that are part of her other superhero identity, the one that she got when she died for all intents and purposes and went to the Jalia, the ancient future identity, which is why Shuri, the second time she became Black Panther, did so very begrudgingly, because she had her own superhero identity, the ancient future, where she is in essence has the knowledge. She had spent time in the T'Challa and has the knowledge of the history of Wakanda in her mind, in that connection. So she is in essence a super powerful griot, with the ability to fly and transform into these birds and her own set of superpowers. She'd grown beyond the desire to become Black Panther. She's been there. She's done that. She got bigger things on her mind. It's kind of like, to I guess to make a comparison, Sam Wilson taking up the Captain America mantle again. He's like, yeah, I've done that. I've been there. I'm cool being Falcon. I'm good. But it is a franchise, and the moviegoers aren't in the comics. So completely from a movie-going perspective, it's important that little girls, and boys for that matter, see a strong Black woman superhero. The closest we've had to a Black superhero in the MCU so far was Okoye.
Right.
Do you remember in the first film when you saw Okoye in Korea?
Yes.
And she's, as you said, when she whipped off the wig and started wrecking up shop in the casino, she jumps on top of that Lexus, and Claw and his men are looking at her, firing guns at her, and she's blocking shots with her spear. And there's a scene where they're looking at her in disbelief, like, who the hell is this woman? And you see her smile, right? Like, that was just one of the most badass moments ever put in the MCU, seeing her smile like that with so much swagger.
Yeah, I adore Danae Guerrero. I really love her. I love her as Michonne, and I definitely dig her as Koye. It's interesting. I want to go back to something you said about the garb that she had on, right? And I'm wondering that will she go to the ancestral plane or to the plane that you were talking about and be endued with these other powers. You know what I'm saying?
That's the question Imani's asking is.
Yeah, that's
definitely
a possibility.
So let's talk. Hold on, let's talk about that.
Okay.
So here's one of the theories that's out there about this film. What if the film takes place during the blip? Here's the stuff I fantasize about. This film takes place during the blip, right? And we know the only reason we know after the blip, T'Challa's gone. Who was ruling T'Challa for those 5 years? Who was ruling Wakanda for those 5 years? You would assume Queen Ramonda based on what you saw in the trailer. But that means they must have mourned his death. So how do we know that the funeral procession wasn't after that, the blip?
We don't. And that's hope something that.
So
Lord, I hope they answer that question.
Here's where the ancient future part comes in. You see in that funeral procession, you see her wearing her garb from the ancient future, but she did not get that and become that persona until after she had died in the comics, right? So let's say that when she's blipped somehow. What was she doing at the time that she blipped? Do you recall? What was she working on?
She was trying to remove the Mind Stone from Vision's head, and then
that's the last you saw of her.
Yeah, and
you saw her trying to work on the Mind Stone. So how do we know?
Shout out to Black Cotton Royalty in the building. He says, but it can't. Marvel has gone on record saying that Shuri vanished.
Who said she didn't vanish? What I'm saying is maybe somehow working with the Mind Stone, being in that close proximity. I don't know.
Yeah.
Perhaps when she blipped, she went to the Jala, right? She went to the ancient land of spiritual realm for Wakanda and got that ancient future powers. When she comes back and they have the funeral procession for her and T'Challa. If this whole movie takes place during the blip, there's a possibility you could have T'Challa back either at the end of the film or recognize that he is going to come back. And it leaves open the door to have a recast T'Challa in the next Black Panther film, whenever that will be.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a lot to speculate.
That would be the most ideal scenario for me.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts of the trailer, we got to bring. We already been here almost 30 minutes. One of my favorite parts of the movie is when Queen Ramonda is meeting with Namor, I guess on the beach, and they have a conversation. That's going to be an interesting conversation. I'm looking forward to seeing that exchange in the movie. It would be nice if Black male characters don't have to die for Black female characters to get her shine. I mean, white kids get Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
That's kind of where my brethren of the Acolyte of Bast sort of fall on the issue. I have no problems with Shuri taking the mantle. Yeah. I have problems that they have to feel the need to kill T'Challa in order to do so, which is not comics accurate.
Yeah, I'm listen. I just want it to be a dope movie because again, it's Black Panther, Wakanda forever.
Oh wow!
So, I like. What was that?
Tamiko's like Team Shuri, Team Dora Milaje, Team Queen.
Listen,
this is like a polarizing issue, and it doesn't need to be.
See, we know that Tamiko will throw slugs when she wants, and it's fine.
She got pimp slaps for real.
I think here's the thing. I think we all want. our heroes to be our heroes. And that's why I brought up earlier about little boys. And it's a tough thing, but it's a good problem to have in the sense that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we weren't having this conversation about any superhero at all. So, let's just enjoy what Marvel has put together, what Ryan Coogler has put together. I think it's going to be great. Now, I will say this, because we got to get out of here. We've been here a half hour. What I want to see, let's talk about what we want to see in the movie.
I just told you what I want to see.
Yeah. I want to see two things. I want to see Shuri in the ancestral plane.
Yep. That was one of them.
And I want to see Shuri get angry.
Get what?
I need her to get heated. I need to see Black Panther full claws,
Yeah, that's a good point. One of the biggest criticisms I had of the first film is that the fight scenes with T'Challa were lackluster in comparison to his fight scenes in Civil War.
Right.
T'Challa in Civil War was a different T'Challa than you see in Black Panther. T'Challa in Civil War had an air of mystery to him, and more importantly, he had that swagger. T'Challa in Black Panther sort of took a second seat to his larger cast and even to a large degree Killmonger. But more on your point, I want to see Shuri throw hands because I want to see to be more specific, because we the Black Comic Lords, I want to see Shuri from the comic books.
Yes.
That's the Shuri Black Panther I want to see. Because Shuri from the Black Panther comic books, that woman liked to fight.
Yeah.
T'Challa be like, well, Shuri, I think we should yeah, come on. Let's stab somebody. It's funny because, literally in the new Avengers run where they had the incursions and stuff, T'Challa was actually siding with Namor and trying to sue for peace. And this is after Namor had wiped out the big city in Wakanda. And, he's sitting there at the table with all of the elders in Wakanda. He's no longer king, but he's king of the dead. And Shuri's listening to him, listening to the other council members, and they're all debating whether or not they should go to war with Namor and Atlantis. And T'Challa's like, I think the way of diplomacy is the way to take this. We should be more measured in our approach and think about the future. And she's like, yeah. I heard everything you said, big bro. Yeah. You're no longer king. I'm queen. We go to war. Let's go. That's the story I want to see. The hot-headed, I want to just kick ass.
Yeah. I want to see her definitely throw hands and be about that action, because
be about that action, bro.
Yeah, we don't really get to see that in the first movie. We got to see a little bit of it when she had the gauntlets, but hopefully we'll get a whole lot of that in this movie. Because
Wakanda's a land of warriors, man. Yeah, I want to see Wakandans be
Wakandans. What Queen Ramonda said at the very end of the trailer. She said, "Show them who we are."
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Show them who we are.
One last point about Namor. I was doing some research on this because one of the things M'Baku says in the trailer is that they call him Kakul Khan. And I had to research what that meant. So Kakul Khan is the Mayan feathered serpent god, right? Mm-hmm. The Aztec version of the same god, literally the same god, is Quetzalcoatl, which is the Aztec version of the same god.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that's the god of?
Not really.
It is the god of wind, storms, rain, and knowledge.
Mm.
Wind, storm, rain, and knowledge. Who does that remind me of? Who does that remind me of? I'm just saying. They had a lot of my. There's at least 9 major Meso-Aztec gods.
Yes.
They picked the one who is the god of wind, power, rain, and knowledge.
Yeah.
That's gotta lead to some interesting
They keep
things.
giving us things that lean toward the mutants without giving us mutants. I mean, the retcon that they did with Namor, the purpose of them doing that was because they're not ready to introduce mutants into the MCU. But they keep giving us stuff that says, well, you know, she really is mutant. Just kind of like they did with the Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm saying she was an Inhuman. Now she's a mutant. I'm like, okay, enough, guys. Give us mutants, all right? Stop playing.
Stop playing. Nobody cares about the Inhumans anyway.
Yeah. Now, Imani says that's the thing. The kid is the Shuri from the comics. Well, Nakia.
Well, Nakia was a Dora Milaje in the comics. So.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but she became Malice.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
That's another video clip for later on. I mean, guys, look. I don't know what side of the fence you're on, whether you Team Shuri, Team T'Challa, whatever. Just go see the movie. Like we tell you guys to go read the comics, buy the comics, read the comics. Go see the movie. And that includes you too, Mark. I know you out there listening.
Oh, he already tied this conversation. He's not going to see it. He literally told me he is not going to see the movie unless I specifically tell him that there's something so important in the film that he cannot miss it.
He cannot miss it. Okay. Well, yeah, hopefully you won't lie to him.
But look, go see the movie. Support it just on a simple basis that it's a black film in every sense of the word, in a positive sense of the word. And you got to support it on that alone, or we won't get much more of these. Because remember, think about it this way. After Black Panther, there was an explosion of black superheroes on television and movies. That's not a coincidence. That's an effect of a barrier that was broken by the original film. If we want to see that happen again, to see that continue to happen, to open more doors, not just in terms of in front of the screen, but behind the screen, where you have writers like and showrunners like Malcolm Spellman being given a shot. You know, having sisters like Misha Green being given a shot in Lovecraft Country. It's no coincidence all this happened after Black Panther. We've finally given our opportunity to shine and be ourselves and show our talent. You got to support a film that literally does that. And when you go see Avatar afterwards, buy a Black Panther ticket and then go see Avatar.
We need to put the disclaimer up because we no go buy the ticket, okay? Please don't be sneaking.
I didn't say sneak into the film. Buy a ticket when you go to see Avatar. Ask for the Black Panther ticket and then go see Avatar.
Go buy a Black Panther ticket and then go see Avatar. But yo, guys, look, we got to wrap this up, man. We really didn't want to be here this long, but we wanted to just kind of give our thoughts about the trailer.
But with regard to that comment I just made. I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, I sit on stuff in my cup. It's late. I'm not paying attention.
Listen, as black folk that have to endure over 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, lynchings, or whatever, I don't think nobody's gonna be mad if you. But we don't want to endorse that, you know what I'm saying? But do you whatever that is. But yo, check this out, man. before we get out of here, we want you guys to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell a friend, tell a hater, tell somebody. Go to blackcomiclords.net. Check out our website. We got merch. We got all kind of stuff there, blogs, you know, you name it, we got it. You know what I'm saying? If you got to do with black comic books, black creators, we got some over there for you. So make sure you go check out our website. And stay tuned for this upcoming week. We're going to have some new video clips. I'm not sure if Paul and Mark are going to be back this Friday with Wakanda Whiskey and Bourbon Burner. But tomorrow is also New Comic Book Day. So go buy you some comics and come back and hang out with us. And of course, Real Talk with Rich is back. So you'll see that next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Central time.
Central time. I'm sorry, 8 p.m. Central time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And got some dope topics to talk about. And until then, we're going to go on and get out of here. It's my man, Paul, the Chief Dada. It's your boy, the OG Rich. We love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And Wakanda forever, baby.
Wakanda forever, baby.
Keep on back. Keep on back. Keep on back. Keep on back.
We'll catch you at the movies.